tasters, and we're back. Those of you who have been waiting for me to post will be aware that I haven't posted since I think the 11th of March, and there are various reasons for that. I mean, we'd had back-to-back lockdowns in the country, and I really just couldn't face doing another video from my kitchen. I was really missing traveling around the country, visiting wineries. But the good news is, with many people, more than half the population vaccinated, so Wine Scribble summer is coming up. I am arranging lots of visits to many different wineries, so stay posted. But I haven't made it out of the house and to the mountains yet, so here we are with another Wine Scribble video in the office. And this video is about yogurt, kind of. So think about yogurt just for a minute. Most of us enjoy it every day, and with good reason. Yogurt is delicious. Look at this. Can you see these little bubbles? I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So, in mainland Greece, yogurt is called yaourti. But in the particular dialect of Greek that we use here on the island of Cyprus, yogurt is called galan oxynon, which literally means sour milk. Because that's all yogurt is. It's sour milk, plain and simple. But the question is, how did it get sour? So for the production of yogurt, milk is fermented, and if you buy traditional Cyprus yogurt, you will see the evidence of this with all the little bubbles at the top on the surface. Yogurt is fermented with the inoculation of a particular bacterium, mainly Lactobacillus acidophilus. I think that's how it's pronounced. Feel free to leave me a comment and correct me. Now, if we were to leave milk outside the fridge for a few days, it would also ferment. It would also go sour. However, it would probably be inoculated with different bacteria, not the friendly Lactobacillus acidophilus. The result can be unpleasant instead of delicious. It's a little bit unpredictable. Now, alcoholic fermentation that turns grape juice into wine is not due to bacteria, but due to yeasts. These yeasts also consume the sugars in the grape juice and convert them into alcohol. But as with yogurt fermentations, not all yeasts are equally desirable. There are many types of yeasts that will cause the wine to deteriorate. For this reason, most winemakers use mainly cultured yeasts. This allows them to have better control of fermentation and also more stable results in the wine they produce. But art and creation require a little bit of boldness, a little bit of experimentation, and more lately there are winemakers who prefer wild yeasts over cultured yeasts. Carlo Mondavi, owner of Rain Winery and grandson of winemaking royalty Robert Mondavi, once said that a single grape can carry more than 50,000 particles of wild yeast. It's not as surprising as it might sound at first, because yeasts are microorganisms whose size does not exceed 3 to 4 micrometers in length. And please note that 1 micrometer equals 1,000th of a millimeter. Teeny tiny. As Mr. Mondavi has pointed out, the number of these microorganisms is incalculable. Now, I understand that many Wine Scribble fans are engineers and have just used the word incalculable for not good enough reason, so please feel free to leave outrage messages. I've missed them too. Now, wild yeasts are not just found on the grapes. They're everywhere. They're in the vineyard, they're in the winery, they're on the equipment, they're in the barrels, they are. So, what's the significance of all of this? The primary aromas of any wine are the characteristics of each variety. These tend to be floral and fruity aromas. So, for example, lemons in Xynisteri, cherries and violets in Maratheftico, strawberries in Pinot Noir, plums in Malbec, the list goes on. The yeasts, however, can affect the secondary aromas of the wine, and these are the aromas that are created by the fermentation process. The yeasts greatly affect these aromas. So, although wines made with these wild yeasts are often unpredictable, many winemakers claim that these wild yeasts produce wines that are more authentic, that reflect both the variety itself, but also the environment that produced it, the terroir. And of course, I have an example for you right here. This is a Xynisteri unlike any other Xynisteri you've ever tasted. This is Smileftis by Ktima Gerolemo. This is a Xynisteri made from wild yeasts, and it says here, wild ferment. That's how you pick it out on the shelves. So, let's get into it. Time for Wine Scribble to get into a bottle of wine on camera. I've missed you too. Happy to see that my skills are intact. Amazing. It's just totally unexpected. So, most Xynisteri out there, it's a very summery wine, it's full of lemons and lemon blossoms. It's a product of Cyprus. There's usually some white flowers, and all of these elements are here. But what you also have that's completely unexpected is this, may I say, wild layer of minerality and a kind of funk that you don't usually get. There's this earthiness that is not usually there in most white wines, and certainly not in Xynisteri, and it's very, very present here, almost mushroomy. So, if you're in the mood to try a very different Xynisteri, give this one a go. This is Smileftis by Ktima Gerolemo. I very, very warmly recommend that you give this a try. It is an authentic wine produced from 35-year-old vines from a single vineyard. As the name Smileftis suggests, these wild yeasts have sculpted it until it has become a very refined expression. Smileftis is the Greek word for sculptor. What we have here is this rather unique yellow quartz color and aromas of peaches, but also a nuttiness there, almonds. There's a lot of limestone and minerality evident. This is really rather tasty and very, very different to regular Xynisteri. I highly, highly recommend getting 2 bottles and tasting them side by side. So, wild thing, you make my heart sing? Perhaps. There's only one way to find out. You could, you know, take a walk on the wild side. Cheers, darlings. Missed you too. I'll try and post again next week, but if I don't, I'll try even harder to post the week after. Let's get back on track. Cheers.